If you can picture a single person as your client, utilize that as a way to determine how you're going to make your marketing efforts going forward, an individual persona that you want to service. And if you're passionate about serving that person, you're going to be significantly more successful than the shotgun approach of just trying to serve everybody.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is Warren Miles Pickup. He is the CMO of Pixel True. They help businesses grow with high-quality design, illustration, and branding, offering unlimited creative support at a fraction of in-house cost. Warren, so excited to have you on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate being on.
Absolutely. So tell us more about your journey. What got you into this world of the marketing, design, illustration? Tell us how that all started.
Well, I took a very different path than the majority of people that wind up in design and graphic design, website design, that sort of thing. I actually started off in finance for nearly 17 years, first as a high net worth financial advisor, and then training advisors, worked with a little over 3,000 financial advisors and helping them with their businesses to identify how to work with clients, how to present information, how to utilize different planning topics, those sorts of things. Wound up doing about $2 billion worth of business on that side. And I was traveling a lot and wound up needing a way to spend more time at home. I got to the point where it was kind of a find a new job or find a new wife sort of situation. And I chose finding a new job. And a friend of mine, who's now my business partner, came to me and said, hey, there's an opportunity to acquire a design agency that's doing something really unique. And this is in the early days of unlimited design, where you would pay a subscription price and receive kind of fractional design work. And what we decided was that we could take some of the skill set, he was from finance as well, some of the skill sets we had working in a very saturated market with where there are billions of dollars of marketing and advertising dollars going into the different products and services. You have to have a unique perspective and a way to present information that's different from the rest of the marketplace. We figured, how do we take that knowledge, that experience working within that marketplace and take it to improving digital assets? And we really wanted to focus on the human psychology decisions. What are the shortcuts and the biases that we have in our brains that determine if we're going to move forward with making a purchasing decision? And we started utilizing heuristics and cognitive biases and these sorts of things in the design and build digital assets, whether that's landing pages or lead magnets, websites, those sorts of things, so that we can build trust very quickly with a consumer and help businesses to shorten the time frame that it takes to close somebody from awareness to purchasing decision by utilizing value first marketing strategies. So understanding those core problems of the ideal client profile and really digging down into what are the products and services that that individual needs and how does this match with what they need.
That is awesome. I really love both how you kind of, as a necessity, needed to get into it, and that propelled the past experience with some opportunities, and you took a huge risk, but it paid off, obviously using all that experience and knowledge to go forward. And just your general take on marketing, kind of getting into the brain of consumers. How do we get them through the buyer's journey and focus on value? I feel like it's really underrated for brands to be able to connect with consumers on a value-driven level. Can you tell me more about that process of either clients who come through or maybe the industries that you work best with?
We work across a number of industries, whether it's SaaS companies or small businesses, coaches and consultants, working with Manulife, which is a really large insurance company, KPMG, the really large account organization. It's quite varied in terms of the organizations that we deal with, but the principles are still the same. But to really drilling down and saying, okay, who is it that you're trying to serve, and making sure that we understand what are the core problems within that community or that avatar an organization or an individual is trying to serve. As an example, I'm working recently with a coach that provides meditation for dealing with traumatic stress disorder. And we wanted to identify and create that avatar for the individual that he wants to focus on working with. And then moving out from who that avatar is to how do we indicate and educate this person on the solutions that they need in order to solve the problem that they're facing. It's very much based on the concept of education-based sales by Chet Holmes, who wrote an incredible book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. And we understand the avatar. We understand what their core problems are. We now understand how our solution fits into that. How do we get this information to them? Well, we need to educate them. We need to show them that the problem exists, show them what the potential solution is for that problem, and then educate them on us being the best provider of that solution. And then creating the digital assets is just taking that a step further and saying, okay, where are they already getting their information? Who are the authorities that this avatar looks to for information and for solutions? So that we can get that information in front of them in that area, then leading them to the next step, whether that's a webinar or website or landing page or virtual sales letter, those sorts of things, to take that education the next step, and then building on from that. You essentially plan to give away as much information as you can, knowing that individuals are going to move from DIY to done with you to done for you kind of process. And it's about building this funnel or the staircase to move people through based on where it is that they are right now in terms of their willingness to purchase the solution right now.
I feel like all of the tips and tricks and how you focus on the marketing funnel and the avatar or the buyer's persona is really the collective of all the years of proven philosophy, business, and marketing psychology all built into one, like your stuff. This is the marketing that works.
Yes. And it creates a commitment from the consumer to continuing on with the process, because once you've got some value out of higher ROI value for yourself than what you're putting out, you're going to continue to return back to that trough to continue to get more and more value. And everything that we build, the intention is to ensure that the consumer is getting 3 times the value of the person providing that value. That way you can ensure consistency, you establish trust, you establish transparency in what the exchange of value is going to be. And that creates a referable relationship, because they're going to be much more confident to provide referrals, to introduce other people, if they know that the consumer is always going to be receiving greater value than is going to be extracted through the service provider.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Now, there's a lot of business owners who are going to be listening to this, and even though they're going to be agreeing with much of this, they may not have tried this yet before. And I think their first worry is always, why would I want to give it away? Why would I share this knowledge? That's in the program or that's in the service. Like, I can't give that away. How do we find that balance between showcasing and educating that it works, between giving away the whole farm? How do we determine that?
The fear of giving away your secret sauce. For some industries, I can understand that IP is incredibly valuable and you want to retain it. When there's a low barrier to entry, or it's a marketplace where that IP holds more value than an individual sale, I respect that people want to retain that IP. But for the vast majority of business services product there, that IP being a provider of knowledge and information, it's essentially eliminated a lot of the barrier to entry for just about any type of service, whether it's consulting or coaching. I could turn my chat GPT into a coach like that, right? And it would provide me with all of the information that anybody has. It's a matter of delivering it in a methodology that causes somebody to want to take action. There's an incredible book called Humans Are Underrated by a guy named Jeff Colvin. And he wrote that the future of the workplace is one that machines or robotics or artificial intelligence essentially replaces the dominant majority of what we do, whether they be simple or complex tasks. But what it cannot replace is empathy and the ability to elicit emotion and decision-making out of the individuals that we deal with. And the vast majority of value that we can deliver to other people is to move them forward in a process that they may not necessarily feel at the moment. We know what is wrong. We need to solve that problem. Stuck on the fence. We will sit there because the pain of change is more evident than the pain of staying where we are right now. And we know that making a change, whether it's quitting smoking or stopping gambling or going to the gym or whatever it may be, all of these services that people get paid tens of thousands of dollars a year to deal with, we don't take that step because we're comfortable where we are, even though we know where we are is painful. And these individuals that are successful are able to drive and elicit that change by convincing people, showing them that the pain of change is actually less than the pain of staying where they are right now. And that's where the majority of the value is derived, is in actually getting people to take the steps and the actions that are required to make a change, whether it be in their business, whether it be in their personal life or anything like that. And you that establishing trust and educating somebody. The majority of people are going to come in with the concept that they're going to be able to do this themselves. They're DIY individuals. And a portion of those are never going to move forward in any other part of the process. And that's fine. They can go into that because they're committed to that process. But a lot of people are going to say, this is too much work for me to do it myself. I want to do it with them. I want the coach that is going to be there with me to drive through taking the action. And then a number of those still find, hey, this is too much work. I'm just going to pay somebody. Like I could teach somebody how to build a website utilizing heuristics, the different biases that we have in our decision-making psychology, but the vast majority of people are never going to do it. They're going to just say, okay, I get it, but I'm really good at this. I just want you to do it for me. And their high value clients lie. And the concept that business owners where they have to get everybody do this one thing is unrealistic. You need to build your business structure so that you can service all three of those different buckets. You want to ensure that you're solving the three different problems or three different segments of the purchasing population.
Absolutely. And now for those who are interested in connecting with you and finding out more about you, where can they find you and connect with you online?
LinkedIn is a great place. My name's Warren Miles Pickup. There's only one Warren Miles Pickup in the world. There's only 8 Miles Pickups in the entire world. So if you look up the name Miles Pickup, you will find me. Our website, pixeltrue.com, is a great place to find out more. Pixel True is also on all the different social media platforms. If you look me up, you'll be able to find me really easily and be able to connect with me. LinkedIn is probably the best place.
Excellent. Now, you've already shared a lot of great resources, like some of the great books that have influenced you, but I want to ask more about 2025. We're about halfway through. Are there new products you're launching, new trends that you're seeing? What are you most excited for in 2025?
Actually, we're launching a new product for small businesses that don't have the capital to put a large investment into their website and page. We're going to be launching a website rental sort of structure where it's only $69 a month for a website. So you can get all of the services and design and all of this that a small business needs in order to create their digital presence without that large sticker shock that you get with trying to do a $5,000, $10,000 website. That it's obviously going to be utilizing artificial intelligence in the way that we're doing it and some templates so that we can turn them around very quickly. What we're trying to do is get to the point where we can commit to having full web build out within 48 hours for a client.
That is exciting. You've definitely found a huge pain point and problem within the market, figured out how to solve it, and then utilize a lot of tools, resources, and AI in order to execute and make that a reality. Warren, that's fantastic. I love it. Is there anything else we haven't talked about that you want to share or are willing to share with the audience?
No, I would just say as a reminder, make sure that you understand who you is. If you can picture a single person as your client, utilize that as a way to determine how you're going to make your marketing efforts going forward, an individual persona that you want to service. And if you're passionate about serving that person, you're going to be significantly more successful than the shotgun approach of just trying to serve everybody.
I love it. Focus on the audience and specifically the individual person that you're trying to speak to. Warren, some great advice here. Congratulations on everything you've done and looking forward to your future success as well. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.